Could sarcastic remarks and hostile behavior from your boss force you to resign from your job? Is that enough to say you were dismissed unfairly, even if you submitted a resignation letter? This is exactly what happened in a landmark case that shook the labor community and reached the Supreme Court. If you want to learn more about your rights in the workplace and discover life-saving legal tips, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We bring you legal information that might save you from trouble someday. GR number 254465.
Jonathan Dy Chua Bartolome, a marketing professional trainee hired by Toyota Quezon Avenue, Incorporated, TQAI, in 2009, later became a regular employee in 2010. His task involved selling Toyota brand vehicles and related products. However, Bartolome's work environment became increasingly hostile over time, particularly after his management issued him multiple notices for habitual absences in late 2015. By December 2015, Bartolome had received several memoranda regarding his attendance. He submitted his responses, hoping to resolve the issues. Despite this, the management issued a suspension order and invited Bartolome to a meeting in January 2016, where he brought his sibling as legal counsel. During a subsequent staff meeting, TQAI's president, Lincoln Lim, made sarcastic remarks targeted at Bartolome for involving a lawyer in their discussions. He said things like, "Why do you need to bring your parent or a lawyer to complain? Are you spoiled?" Bartolome began experiencing more hostility after this incident. In one instance, a car unit he handled was delivered to a customer with leather seat covers that were not part of the original package. Although Bartolome did not authorize the modification, he was made to feel accountable. Despite requesting an investigation, the management downplayed his concerns, with his manager telling him, "Why would you make O to pay for it? What are you fighting for?" The environment worsened for Bartolome after several of his sales accounts were transferred to other employees without any explanation. His request for clarification was met with, "Boss Lincoln doesn't want you handling these accounts anymore," further fueling Bartolome's sense of alienation. Despite his attempts to perform his duties, Bartolome's efforts were continually blocked. One notable incident involved Bartolome processing a sales transaction, but the general sales manager refused to sign the necessary documents, instructing Bartolome to assign the transaction to another employee instead. Bartolome resisted but was ultimately ignored. By March 2016, Bartolome was transferred to a new team, where his new boss asked him, "Are you planning to resign?" This question further cemented Bartolome's belief that he was being pushed out. Bartolome's performance scores were also unjustifiably downgraded after he signed the scorecard under protest. His working conditions became unbearable, leading him to tender his resignation on March 31, 2016, effective April 30, 2016. Bartolome later filed a complaint for constructive dismissal, arguing that the hostile work environment left him no choice but to resign. Labor arbiter. The labor arbiter ruled in favor of Bartolome, finding that he was constructively dismissed. The ruling stated that the management's hostile actions, including sarcastic remarks, withdrawal of accounts, and the refusal to process his sales, amounted to constructive dismissal. The labor arbiter awarded Bartolome back wages, separation pay, commissions, moral damages, exemplary damages, and attorney's fees, as well as the turnover of various employment documents requested by Bartolome. National Labor Relations Commission, NLRC. Upon appeal by TQAI, the NLRC affirmed the labor arbiter's decision with slight modifications. It absolved two company officers, President Lim and Glici Gamboa, from personal liability, reasoning that no sufficient evidence of malice was shown against them. Court of Appeals, CA. The Court of Appeals reversed the ruling, concluding that Bartolome voluntarily resigned. The CA reasoned that while Bartolome faced sarcastic comments and was unhappy with the account transfers, these were insufficient to constitute constructive dismissal. The CA found that Bartolome's resignation letter, coupled with his execution of a quitclaim, indicated his voluntary resignation rather than a forced departure. Did the hostile and discriminatory actions of Toyota Quezon Avenue, Inc. and its officers amount to constructive dismissal, or did Bartolome voluntarily resign? The Supreme Court ruled in favor of Bartolome, reversing the decision of the Court of Appeals. The court held that Bartolome was constructively dismissed due to the hostile and unbearable working environment created by the management. The Supreme Court emphasized that sarcastic and degrading remarks, along with the withdrawal of Bartolome's accounts and obstruction of his transactions, demonstrated insensitivity and disdain that made continued employment impossible for Bartolome. The court reiterated that constructive dismissal occurs when an employee's resignation is not truly voluntary but is forced due to the employer's unjust, discriminatory, or hostile actions. In Bartolome's case, the totality of circumstances showed that his resignation was not a voluntary choice but a result of a toxic and unsustainable work environment created by TQAI management. The court ordered Toyota Quezon Avenue, Inc., along with its officers Lincoln Lim, Esteban de la Paz Jr., and Josefina de Jesus, to pay Bartolome back wages, separation pay, unpaid commissions, and moral and exemplary damages. They were also ordered to pay attorney's fees and interest on the total monetary award. Have you ever experienced workplace hostility that made you consider quitting? Should employers be held more accountable for creating toxic environments that push employees to resign? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Constructive dismissal. Constructive dismissal occurs when an employee's resignation is not voluntary but is forced due to unbearable working conditions. It is considered a form of illegal dismissal. Management prerogative. While employers have the right to discipline and transfer employees, this prerogative must not be used to harass, discriminate, or force an employee into resignation. Sarcastic remarks and hostile actions as grounds for constructive dismissal.